will you welcome the East End superstar, the fabulous Miss Dockyard Doris!
Hello? It's me in the flesh. When I come in tonight, the theatre manager said to me, Doris, you do remind me of Elizabeth Taylor. I said, is it my figure? He said, yes, it's gone for a bloody Burton girl for a start. But I can't help being fat. No, I've got a problem with my feet. I can't keep them out of fish and chip shops, you know. Come from a very select part of London, ladies and gentlemen, called Bethnal Green. Oh, I'm very proud to come from there. Thank you, sir. Please don't clap on your own, they'll throw you a fish. No. And I thought a few weeks down in Margate would do me the world of good. I thought, how shall I get down? I thought I'd get the bus down to Victoria and get the old train down. And I didn't know what the weather was going to be like 7 or 8 weeks ago when we first come down here, so I wore the old-fashioned dress with the buttons up the back in case it rained. Remember them girls, the hobble dress? And when the bus come along, it was the old-fashioned, the route masters, the number 8s with the stairs and the door at the back. And I grabbed hold of the pole and cocked my leg up, and I couldn't get on the bus because the dress was too tight. So I put my hand behind and undone the button like you do. And I grabbed hold of the pole for the second time and cocked my leg up, and I still couldn't get on the bus. So I put my hand behind and undone another button. And I grabbed hold of the pole for the third time and cocked my leg up, and I still couldn't get on the bus because the dress was too tight. So I put my hand behind for the third time, and all of a sudden, this bloke in the queue, he picked me up and put me on the platform. I thought, the age of chivalry is not dead. I said, thank you very much, cock. He said, not at all, Doris. They were my buttons you were undoing. Oh, I did feel a fool. But it's lovely down here, it really is. I mean, I always say, if you enjoy going somewhere, go back year after year, because we went to Spain last year with the Saga holidays. Do you get Saga down here? S-A-G-A. Send a granny abroad, you know. We went to terrible Molinos. Oh, I didn't like it. I was only there 10 minutes, I had to call the police. He said, what is the matter, senora? I said, all the Spanish men keep pinching my bum. He said, it's traditional. I said, what, with a pair of pliers? And you've got to go on the beach, because if you don't come back with a suntan, people don't think you've been away. And I'm laying on the beach doing no harm to anybody in my bikini. I was only there 15 minutes, and 4 blokes from Greenpeace tried to push back in the water again, you know. And one night I went in this bar, and this bloke said, Gordon Bennett, ain't you fat? I said, yes, and you're ugly, but at least I can go on a diet, mate, you know. I've tried all the diets, so I have. Monkey nuts and bananas. I haven't lost much weight, but I can't half climb trees. This woman said to me, have you been down the sauna bath, Doris? You'll lose weight there. I said, what are you talking about? She said, in the steam room. Well, I couldn't find a sauna bath, and eventually I found this place. It was all full of steam. There was tiles all up the wall, and a big slab made out of marble. I took all my clothes off and laid on the slab, and when the steam cleared, I got the shock of my life. I was laying in the window of a fish and chip shop in Faversham. All these Cockney women poking me with their fingers, you know. I said, what are you after? She said, hard rose. I said, it's a day off, leave me alone. Well, you've got to have a laugh, ain't you? I mean, they can take away your pension, they can take away your dignity, but they can't take away your memories, can they? I mean, you go down the DHS, they're all sat behind a bulletproof glass, aren't they? And don't they ask you the most ridiculous questions? She said, name, I said, Dockyard Doris. She said, date of birth. I said, 8th of February. She said, what year? I said, every bloody year. What a stupid question that is to ask a woman. She said, what was your last job, dear? I said, ink monitor. I thought, pick the bones out of that girl for a start, you know. It was a nice hotel over in Spain. I mean, but it was a swimming pool there. But every morning when we come down, we couldn't get near it because of the German tourists. Have you ever had that? Yes. Have you? Oh, it got on my nerves. One day I got my own back. I never went to bed. I put the towel down by the side of the bed about 2 o'clock in the morning, by the side of the pool. I thought, I'll be first. I laid on the towel. I fell fast asleep. At 6:30, I felt water on my face. Looked up, it was a big German mate. He said, excuse me. He said, this is my place. I said, pardon? He said, this is my place, I am German. I said, I am English, and I was here first. He said, I am an Olympic swimmer. I said, what do you want, a paper rat or a chocolate mouse? He said, we will have a competition. I said, will we? He dived in the pool, he did 8 lengths breaststroke. And when he got out, he flicked the water on my face. He said, beat that roast beef. I said, I will, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to be English. And you should be proud to be English or Irish or Scottish or Welsh. Have faith in yourself. My granddad had faith in himself. He was the only man in Ramsgate to swim the channel with an anvil strapped to his back. His last words to me was, "Boo." I said, I'll show you, Fritz. I climbed up onto the top diving board. I did 48 somersaults, completely by accident. I hit the water about 20 miles an hour. I did about 28 lengths underwater without coming up once. I was exhausted when I got out. He said, that is amazing, that is wunderbar. Where did you learn to swim like that? I said, I used to be a prostitute in Venice and the police are very hot on it, now behave. And that was it. I had no more problems with him. Well, you've got to stick up for yourself, haven't you? It's like when you fall over, somebody always says, what are you doing down there? I say, getting up. Or the worst thing is when the phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning. They say, did I wake you up? He said, no, I had to get up to answer the bloody phone in the first place. And neighbours are the same, aren't they? My neighbour, when she first moved in, she knocked on my door. She said, your house is the same as mine, but back to front. I said, that's right, love. She said, how many rolls of wallpaper did you buy for your lounge? I said, 8. Thank you so much. About a week later, I saw her in Tesco and she stuck her nose in the air. I said, what's up with you, girl? She said, you've been telling me lies. I said, I've only just met you. She said, I asked you how many rolls of wallpaper you bought for your lounge and you told me 8. I said, that's correct. She said, well, I've got 3 left over. I said, so have I. And she's one of these women. She said to me, every Saturday I used to see her, she'd say, if I won the lottery, it wouldn't change my life. 3 years ago, she won 2.5 million. She moved up to Hendon. She said to me, she said, would you look after the place whilst I'm away? I said, well, what do you mean look after the place? I said, what's it like when you live in nowadays? She said, oh, big house, stables, bought herself a horse, a dog. She were going away for the Christmas period, the hubby and I. They went away for 12 weeks to the West Indies. She said, would you look after the place? I said, well, it's a long way from Bethnal Green on the Green Line bus every day up to Hendon. But I thought, look after a neighbour. So I did. And I fed the doggy and the horse for 12 weeks. And I met her at Heathrow Airport, and I had bad news. And I thought, well, am I going to break the news to her? I thought, I know, I'll say I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. And she's bound to say to me, what's the good news? But she didn't. She said, what's the bad news? I said, well, your dog's dead. My dog? He was only a puppy, how did it die? I said, well, the horse kicked it. The horse? It was only a foal, 6 hands high. What made it kick the dog? I said, well, it was escaping from the stables. What do you mean escaping? I said, well, it was on fire. So the stables had burned down. I said, I'm sorry. She said, how did that start? I said, well, it spread from the house. She said, my house has burned down. I said, I'm ever so sorry. She said, well, how did that start? I said, well, a candle fell off your father's coffin. She said, my dad's dead. I said, I'm sorry. She said, well, then, when did he die? I said, 2 weeks after your mother. My mum's passed over. I said, yes. She said, well, if that's the bad news, Doris, what's the good news? I said, well, the heat from the fire has brought your daffodils up there, but she didn't like it. But it's all changed round where I live now in Bethnal Green. All the yuppies have moved in. Do you get yuppies down here? Oh, they get on my nerves. They took over our local pub. They've renamed it. They call it the Disappointed Virgin now. It used to be called the Halfway Inn until they moved in. No, it's true. And they're in there, and they can't have a quiet conversation like you and I. They've got to shout loud, haven't they? So the whole pub can hear, you know. Hello, Sebastian. How's your son doing? Oh, he's doing awfully well. He's bucking the trends in the city on the stock exchange. You know, he made so much money last week, he gave away £1,000. Just gave it away. What about your son, Tarquin? Oh, he's doing awfully well. He's an estate agent in Chelsea. He made so much money last week, you know, he gave away a villa in Spain, just gave it away. What about your son, Peter? Oh, he's doing awfully well. He's a yacht broker in St. Catherine's Dock. You know, he made so much money last week, he gave away a yacht, just gave it away. And sitting in the corner of this pub is a little Cockney bloke. It's been his local for about 30 years, and he's not going to move for the yuppies. And they said, do you have a son? He said, I do. What a waster he's turned out to be. He's gone the other way. A rent boy in Piccadilly, he is. Brought disgrace on the family, he has. Mind you, he hasn't done badly. Last week he was given a villa in Spain, a yacht and £1,000. You see? Yes. As somebody's son and daughter. Oh dear. Now listen, do we have anybody in from London this evening? You know Bethnal Green, do you? Well, I don't know if you know, but if you go a mile up Bethnal Green Road, there's a very exotic place called the Hackney Marshes. What do you mean, oh God? It's very nice. If you go there today, there's 100 football pitches there. But years ago, it was marshland in Hackney. The River Lee runs through the Hackney Marshes into the River Thames. And that's where you went years ago, over the Lee on a Sunday afternoon. Well, the bulrushes, you see, used to grow 15 feet. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, girl? And you could sit in the long grass and nobody bothered you. That was before Channel 5 started, you know. And when my Auntie Alice come home and told her mum, my great Auntie Queenie, that she was pregnant, she looked her straight in the eye and she said, well, Alice, that must have happened one Sunday over the Lee. One Sunday over the Lee, my fella done it to me. Well, he done it once, then he done it twice, and then he had the blinking cheek to say it wasn't nice. My mother had a surprise when she saw my belly rise, 'cause what's worth having is worth waiting for. One Sunday over the Lee, it's getting bigger, it's getting bigger. Now once it was nice and small, now it's as big as an old beach ball. I don't care what people say, I know it's getting bigger every day. Now I would if I could, and I could if I would, but I'm not that kind of a gal, 'cause I went riding with little Tommy Tucker. Everybody knows he's a dirty out, thank you, riding along on his old machine. One Sunday over the Lee, sing with Doris, everybody. One Sunday over the Lee, my fella done it to me. Well, he done it once, then he done it twice, and then he had the flipping cheek to say it wasn't nice. My mother had a surprise when she saw my belly rise, 'cause what's worth having is worth waiting for. One Sunday over the Lee. Thank you for listening.